Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. TGIF, it is Friday, y'all. We have made it to the weekend and I am super glad about it. While you are here, go ahead and show your girl some love by liking the video and hitting subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. Is it me or is like time going by super fast, y'all? Like, I just celebrated my son's little kindergarten graduation yesterday. And today's their last day of school. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like time is going by super fast. Like, wow. But I'm not going to complain because I told y'all I have so much to do and I cannot wait to move. My house looks crazy. Y'all have bags here, trash bags here, boxes here. Like it's a mess. So I'll be so glad when I leave. And I told you I'm going to vlog that process on my personal channel. And I'm going to start vlogging that process next week. Okay. Speaking of my personal channel, I just posted 3 non-phone positions for non-phone Fridays. I post remote jobs weekly, usually up to 13. So if you are looking for remote work or you know someone looking for remote work, feel free to follow my personal channel. I have life after divorce, story time, how I manifest in my person, all of these things. Okay, that will be linked in the comments below. Now, today's video, I'm not gonna hold you. I was not even going to cover this because I'm sick of hearing about Diddy. Like, I've been peep game with the industry a long time ago. So I wasn't going to cover it, but I kept seeing more and more things and hearing more people's review on it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do my own breakdown of this because this, y'all know me. If you follow my channel, you know how I am very, very passionate about spirituality. And I hear a lot of people talking about the case and stuff like that, but I really want to talk about the spiritual component of what is going on here and what we can learn from this as women, and just as adults in general. But we really do need to speak on this, and there's some things that I want to talk about from a spiritual perspective mostly, okay? But oh yes, we is gonna talk about that mama, okay? I'm gonna start with his mama, period, okay? So without further ado, I'm gonna let you watch kind of what is going on in the industry in relation to him. You're going to see some different videos. You're going to see some creepy, weird things that go on in relation to him. You're going to see people talking about his mama because new information, I guess, came out about his mama and her involvement in relation to all of this. You're going to hear people's perspectives on that. It's pretty entertaining. So I'm going to let you watch that, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to do a breakdown of what is going on here with my commentary. So I will see you in just a minute.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
We were put in dresses and sandals. We were taken in a sports car. We're not taken in a sports car. We pulled up to the museum in a sports car.
So Terrence Howard just teamed up with Allie Carter to expose Diddy's alleged ring, and trust me, the details are more shocking than you think they are. Terrence has been making the news since his shocking confession that Diddy had once tried to put the moves on him. But guess what? Terrence then went on to back up everything Allie Carter has been saying about Diddy. The fact that Diddy's alleged ring runs much wider and deeper than we previously thought. As if that isn't messy enough, the feds are now coming through with new indictments accusing Diddy of even more crimes. Word on the street is that the feds have so many new victims coming in that they have to keep reviewing the case and adding more charges. At this rate, Diddy might have to tell his family goodbye for life because the feds are planning to lock him up and throw away the keys. Now, it's not surprising at all that Terrence Howard is taking sides with Allie Carter because if anyone would, it would be him. Over the years, Terrence has made it clear that he is not one of the creepy A-list celebrities who engage in Diddy's illegal activities. But at first, many people didn't pay attention because it seemed like Terrence was just talking out of context. For instance, in a 2022 interview, Terrence spilled the tea about the industry being full of creeps. He said, "With the new formula, most men are made to be effeminate and not have their power or sense of strength. I don't want to remove a few chromosomes to fit in someone's story, so I feel they need to expand their stories to allow men to be man and simultaneously appreciate a woman's beauty." Terrence chose to be vague in that particular interview because he didn't want some people coming for his head, but he opened that can of worms again in his recent interview, where he talked about how Diddy tried to get him into his ex-trafficking organization. According to Terrence, Diddy invited him over for an acting training session, but when he got there, all Diddy wanted to do was get into his pants. At first, Terrence didn't understand what was going on, but when he finally clocked the kind of timing Diddy was on, he ran fast from him and never looked back.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while.
Not just Cassie, it's not just Kim Porter, it's so many other people. And by the way, in P. Diddy's case, the sodomy ritual, yes, the ritual that they use in order to conjure up energy, call it sexual magic, call it black magic, call it whatever you want, but they do that, okay? So never think that it's crazy and people don't do it. It goes all the way back to Egyptian chimes. It goes all the way back before Jesus. It goes all the way back. They do all kinds of energetic. It seems stupid to us if you say, I'm going to sacrifice somebody. That seems dumb. It's like, sacrifice them for what? But energetically, they're taking that energy. They are consuming that energy. When that happens, they get more energy. Now, what I'm seeing, and this is specifically coming from the energy of Kim, because I've been asking about it. She was actually, when I see her energy, okay, she's a strong, vibrant, articulate, even in spirit woman. And she wants her family to know she's okay. And she also wants people to know that this is not done.
Sounds like the title of a horror thriller, right? But no, this is real life, America. And if you thought you knew the drama surrounding one of hip-hop's biggest moguls, think again. Behind the glitz, the platinum chains, and the swagger, there's a story so disturbing it could freeze your blood. Let's set the scene. The courtroom was dead silent. All eyes on the witness stand as former bodyguard Gene Deal drops a bombshell that shakes the very foundation of what we thought we knew about Diddy. Forget the usual rumors. This is no tabloid's fairy tale. Gene claims that Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, they weren't wild celebrity escapades, but twisted demonic rituals cloaked in music, luxury, and decadence. You heard me right. Rituals. Full of bizarre ceremonies involving strange fluids, animal elements, and even human sacrifice whispers. And no, this isn't the plot of a B-movie. Gene Deal, who stood close to Diddy for years, swears he has the receipts. He's been talking about this dark side for years, dismissed as a crackpot chasing clout, until the courtroom testimony started lining up, like puzzle pieces from a nightmare. Remember Cassie? The woman who took Diddy to court, revealing the sickening extent of his control and manipulation? Gene's interview revealed a whole new, darker layer. According to him, Diddy brainwashed Cassie, a young woman barely out of her teens, into submission. He turned her dreams of stardom into a living hell of obedience, exploitation, and twisted ceremonies that had her perform acts she didn't understand, all to please a man who knew no boundaries. The details? Absolutely gut-wrenching. Imagine a hotel room rigged for grotesque rituals, extra sheets to soak up bodily fluids, baby oil baths, colored candles flickering to set the right vibe, even inflatable pools filled with slippery substances for ceremonies that would make your head spin. And Cassie dressed in specific lingerie, waxed, masked, and glowing from heated oils, performing for an audience that wasn't just a room full of partygoers, it was a satanic stage. And get this, Diddy wasn't alone. Gene says this wasn't some isolated freak show. These ritualistic horrors are apparently the dark underbelly of an industry where the elite meet, perform, and thrive in the shadows. Diddy's just the unlucky one caught in the spotlight this time. But hold your disbelief. It gets worse. Gene recounts a 1999 NYC club shooting involving Diddy, J-Lo, and a protege named Shy.
I'ma really need y'all to stop calling them freak-offs. What it is a sacrifice party, a fete. And you can look it up yourself, look deep, because obviously the information isn't going to be like right there for you. But do a deep dive. It's not a freak-off. It's a sacrifice party, a fete.
I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal like demonic state, and you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be honored and you should be appreciating that you're there. And I was that person. I totally acted like that. I was like, oh, it's fine. There's cities underground, there's warehouses underground, there's actual homes underground. People build these tunnels, and they've built them for decades. There's a lot, and elite celebrities, they go down there for parties. Underneath the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, California. I was there for a cock party. We walked through the museum, through the garden area, and employees led us to underground tunnels. We had to take an elevator and stairs. We had to be led. There is no way that you can just walk into a tunnel. The entrances and the exits are in your face, but there's no way that you can just walk through tunnels. You'll get stuck. You'll go deeper and deeper, and you won't be able to come back out because it's hard, because the tunnels run all different directions for miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you go down the wrong one, you'll get stuck, and it's confusing to turn back around and get back to where you're going.
I can't help but think some of the things that Cassie was engaging in with Diddy, it was actually invoking spiritual things into her life. And I know she don't realize that, and my whole prayer is literally that she find God, because she's going to need like a full deliverance. The acts that she engaged in, it was opening her up to a spiritual realm, like the kingdom of darkness. There's a certain type of spiritual realm that it was actually opening her up to, that she doesn't even realize. And that's why the effects of it, if you go and if you have the transcripts of what happened in court, she talks about the effects that she had to do trauma therapy, that she tried unaliving herself. That is just the effects of what she was dealing with spiritually after those acts. Every single time she had a freak off, it was bringing her closer to that spirit, whatever the spirit was. It was spirit of perversion and what other spirit he was operating in. It was actually bringing her more closer to that spirit realm of darkness, of the spirit of perversion and lust, amongst other things. And with every act, demonically, like I told y'all, those were rituals. He was actually making her engage in these acts while she was on her menstrual. That's how you know it was a form of a ritual and that it was spiritual. People don't realize that sin controls you. Once you come into agreement with a specific sin, a specific spirit, it will begin to control you. And that's why people can't fathom or think in their head like, why couldn't she leave? It was so many opportunities for her to leave. Well, she couldn't leave because once you come into agreement with those demonic entities and spirits and those rituals was performed, it was a spirit of control that now was taking over her. And she can't even tell you why she didn't just leave right away, but it was those entities that had the control over her now, because once you come into agreement with it, they have access to you. At one point when she was on the stand, she kept saying, they kept saying, well, why did you do it? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? She was like, well, this is all that Sean wanted. This is all what Sean Combs wanted. No, it was all what those entities wanted, not Sean, because he's operating in a demonic spirit. One point in her testimony, she talks about that Diddy eyes went black, straight black. I was just watching an interview of a guy who used to work in the industry with some of your A-list artists, who's now a pastor, who said that there were demons using his body to have relations with all of these different types of women. And he began to describe his body parts and how his body parts was functioning during the time he was having these relations. That's why people need to be careful with who they lay around with, okay? Because everybody ain't who they supposed to be. That's why I will always stand on that hill that a lot of your illnesses is from a demonic connotation. She talks about also how she had those UTIs and that the antibiotics wasn't even working at some point. She also goes in to talk about other things physically that took place in her body. That was the effects of the sin and the demonic demon that she was laying with. The sores in her mouth also was another defining factor that demons, that's what they like to do. They like to use our body and go against the natural order of God. That is the purpose of why they try to embody humans so they can destroy us, literally. But not only that, it was the substance use too. Satan was using the substance use to physically harm her body. Man, this stuff is deep. It's really deep. And I'm just praying that she knows God. I'm praying that there's someone close to her that can help her to see Jesus. Like I feel tears because that's my prayer for her. Like after all that trauma, baby, you should be running to God.
I blame this woman right here. I blame her dusty, okay? Mama Combs with her bad wigs. The madame herself where her son got all his deviancy from, who has enabled his behavior thus far. This is the woman that Sean punishes on repeat, on replay. This is the woman that he punishes through all of the women that has came in his life. This is the one that he wants to punish. I hope she knows somewhere deep down in her soul that her son can't stand her and that he abuses women because he can't stand her. And a mother sitting through your son's trial of abuse, SA, trafficking, and doing all types of debauchery.
Girl, did y'all know that Diddy mama used to have sex parties at his childhood home? Allegedly. And did y'all know that his mama, everybody thought she had a model agency. Turns out it's a whole brothel. Allegedly. His mama is a madam. Allegedly. Running females and running substances. Allegedly. This man get it from his mama. Lord.
Cassie said that Diddy makes all the women wear white nail polish during the freak-offs. Not to mention, she said that the freak-offs will last so long they will be on IVs after. Now, a video resurfaced with Diddy and his mother. She was wearing white nail polish and was on an IV with Diddy. Diddy also implied that she loves going to the strip clubs with him. He makes her go everywhere with him. They were kissing on the lips. He was saying, oh, she can touch the ground with her palms. She lit, she's fun, she's single. All this crazy stuff about his mom. Mind you, she's never been married before. She never had a public boyfriend. People are really speculating that she participates in the freak-offs as well. There's been allegations that she participates and that she also watches the freak-offs. Y'all, do y'all think she could possibly catch charges or she's going to end up being on the stand as well? I don't know. This is going to get wild.
They ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. I knew his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. The woman that they're saying is his mother was a prostitute and a whore. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers.
I don't too much care for talking about P. Diddy on Saturdays and Sundays. It's like my Monday through Friday content, but this is about his mother, okay? It is something that this man was introduced to at an early age to be the way that he is, with the baby oil and sitting in a chair with cowboy boots and hats on and wanting to watch Cassie do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. Y'all know this TikTok, so y'all got to go look up all the things he was into, but some of y'all probably already know. I fought the mama. She's very quiet. You know what I'm saying? And we know, with our children, that we have done some things, especially the oldest ones, being in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Just a lot of things, that was not so right for your children to see. Okay? I have been there. I was in the streets doing this, fighting, all kind of stuff. And I know that my child that's in jail, I'm not going to say I'm going to take all of it, but I take some of it, that he had turned out to be the gangster he was. Okay? And as mothers, we have to admit, some things that we have done. This P. Diddy has gotten hold to some things, maybe VCR tapes back in the day, magazines, or he could have seen his mama being the H word. But this is something that started, we got to get into the root of things. This is something that didn't start overnight. This is something that was inside this child. And I feel like they need to bring that up. And she needs to be honest. And she's very quiet. Well, she sings very quiet. And when you see people like that, it be something eating at them, or eating at their heart and soul. And I bet you if she be honest, and a lot of other people may know, she has a lot to do with what P. Diddy is going through right now. It starts from the root. And again, this is nothing that happened with this man being into all the things he was into, okay, overnight. This started at an early age, and I bet you it started from his mama. Hugs and love. Y'all be blessed, J-Lo. Mwah.
Okay, so now that you've seen everything, let's talk about this, okay? Now, everything is allegedly, okay? There's still a case going on. Everything is allegedly, okay? Now, I want to start with his mama too, okay? And if I look down, y'all know I got my notes, okay? But I agree with the last lady when she said we need to start at the root of things. This is very, very true. Y'all have seen my recent content with DDG. We have all of these men who are like problematic. A lot of men are problematic. Now, don't get me wrong. Does not mean that every single man who is problematic or low vibrational came from a toxic mother, father, upbringing, etc. But a lot of these men are problematic, and a lot of them stem from their problematic mama. Okay? So if we look at the root of things, y'all seen Jagger Wright say though, like, oh, this is not really his mom. His mom was unalived, etc. We don't know, first of all, if Diddy knows that or not. Okay, he could, if he does know that, he or even heard rumors of it, he could truly be scorned internally and basically just, screw over every woman he can now because he's angry about what was done to him at a young age, especially because they just put this other woman in front of him saying, hey, I'm your mother, etc. Okay, so we don't know the dynamics behind that situation, but we're just going to go based off the woman that he claims as his mom that has been in his life for a long time. Okay, so looking at their relationship, it's very much weird. It's very much uncomfortable. Excuse me. I know me as a woman, if I see you and your mama interact like that, I'm gone. I'm sorry, but I don't care how much money you have, you cannot convince me to stay here if I sense that there is something going on with you and your mama. That's sick, okay? If you've seen my content before, I speak about how important the dynamic is between the father and the daughter, right? I have a whole playlist and a whole series on that. And we're going to speak a little bit about that later. But let's also talk about the importance of the son and his mother. A son's first love is supposed to be his mother in a healthy way, not a sick way, but in a healthy way, right? Now, in this specific dynamic, the mother is supposed to teach him how to be properly loved by a woman, how to be in properly unison of a woman, how to be properly nurtured from a woman. She's supposed to also introduce him to a spiritual perspective in his life. I've said before, the mothers protect the family spiritually, the fathers protect the family physically. Doesn't mean that either one of them can't do the other, but I'm just saying that's kind of what it's known as, okay? Women are very spiritual. Shoot, we carry life within our wound, okay? So that's what the mother is supposed to do. In a proper, healthy upbringing, you're supposed to have both parents there, to where the father is supposed to teach him how to be a man. He's supposed to teach him, like, this is how you provide for your family. This is how you love your wife properly, by loving his mother properly, okay? This is how you be a gentleman, open doors. This is how you protect your family against danger, etc. This is how you go out and get it to do better and strive better for your, you know what I mean? That's what the father is supposed to do. Some people get things confused and the roles confused. The father is solely supposed to teach him that. Now, he can talk to the son about relationships, obviously, like, hey, you know, you don't want to do this, stay away from these kind of women, especially when it comes to sexuality, all of that. Like, that's his job. But the mother, when it comes to that romantic dynamic in his life, he's supposed to learn that from his mother, okay? So when you have a mother who is low vibrational and who is participating in these messed up acts, I'm hearing that she was doing these sex parties before him, okay? That's what I heard, allegedly, okay? That she was doing these sex parties and stuff before him, okay? So of course he adapted and learned that. Okay, he was doing that because this is what he's seen. This is what he was around. Now, a lot of y'all don't, if you're new, you probably don't know, and it are people who just don't know. I have a background degree in psychology, and I had to do a lot of case studies. I particularly chose to do case studies on single parent dynamics. I worked in a troubled youth home facility, reading over their charts. You have to read their charts to get familiar with them before you like work in their unit and just all this kind of stuff, right? And I can tell you, and especially because, you know, studies have backed this up as well, is that your upbringing and your background, your environment definitely has a lot to do with shaping who you are as an adult. It doesn't mean that you have to make the same poor choices or have to be conditioned a certain kind of way because your environment, like, it will hold you back. That's your personal choice, but it will shape a lot of people. Okay, y'all remember in NWA when they doing that interview and the feds tried to shut them down because they were talking about, like, you know, F the police and all this kind of stuff, right? You remember that? So remember when they said we're a product of our environment, like what you see when you look out your window. We just talking about what we see. That's true. That's very true. And that backs up exactly what I said. When people see certain things in certain environments, etc., they tend to be a product of their environment. And when you have boys, especially who don't have a good father active in their life, like they said Diddy didn't, they said something happened to his dad or something. But when you don't have a good active father in your life to kind of like push you where you need to go, things like that happen. Like, I've heard this man who worked in a youth program. It's called the Big Brothers and the Big Sisters. And he said girls need counseling, boys need mentors. And I agree with that, because a little girl, like her talking about her feelings and emotion and all that, she might feel better. You know, she might learn different ways to cope, journal, etc. and might feel better about it. We like to talk about our feelings. Boys, they are about action. They want to see it in front of them. So if they constantly hear women sitting down and talking to them like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and they don't see nothing that looks like them in the household, they're going to go to what looks like them. Okay, so if you are a single woman, okay, raising a son, and you only have all girls in the household, he's gonna go after what looks like him. So he's like, listen, I hear y'all females. He's gonna go after what looks like him. So if he sees these thugs in the street and they getting money and they getting cars and they getting HOESs and all of that, that's what he's going for. He's gonna go out there and go for them because that looks like him. That's what he's gonna be when he gets older. He sees a reflection of him. So that's what he a lot of times will go after. He needs some type of mentor to guide him right. So if his father's not there to do that, or he don't have a good active grandpa or a good active uncle, a good active stepfather. See, this is another thing I spoke about. Some people, you know, some people talk about step parents, don't, whatever, it doesn't matter. I can tell you though, having a good active stepfather in the household, especially when your kids are up, like growing up with him, then that does also help the dynamic for these little boys to have somebody to look up to, okay, to show them the way if he is a good active stepfather. Okay, so if they have no type of mentors, they're going to go after what they think they're supposed to do and act like. So that kind of brings me to like other people in Diddy's life, like Clive Davis and other bad influential men in his life that I felt like helped groom him also in a way to where he was not groomed properly. Okay. And then what does he do? He repeats the behavior. He brings in Justin Bieber, which y'all already know there's certain allegations out there about him. You can look into that. It's a lot. Usher at a young age, same thing, allegations on that, allegedly, you know what I mean, like all of that. He does the same thing. He's just doing what he was presented. Okay, Diddy apparently went to a Catholic school. We don't know what a lot of Catholic priests be doing to these Catholic boys. Okay, and there has been rumors on that and what happened to him at those schools. Okay, so if he don't have the protector in his household protecting him from certain things, then he is prone to exhibit these kind of behaviors. Okay, he don't know what he's supposed to be as a man. Now we would hope when boys become men, they learn that, but if they don't have proper influences and they have the influences that should be teaching them right, teaching them wrong, then stuff like this happens. And when you have a mother who was supposed to teach you how to treat women, who's participating in the low vibrational activities with you, then you have these kind of results. Okay, it's just very much weird. I was watching a live with him and his mom sitting next to him and how they be kissing in the mouth and just all this kind of weird stuff. I ain't gonna hold you, if I was Cassie or any other woman in his life and he was doing that, like I would have to walk away. Like I'm sorry, but if I feel any type of weirdness, queasiness like around you and your mom's relationship, I'm gone. You ain't gotta worry about me. I am gone. Okay, and people say, you know, like, oh, you notice how his mom never got married. It's because there's rumors that him and his mom be messing around and all this kind of stuff, right? And I also think that's the reason why he never got married too. I feel like, I don't know what him and his sick mom got going on, but I feel like they probably have some type of like agreement or secret agreement to where she never gets married and he never gets married too. You just never know. They might have some stuff going on that we have no idea about. Okay, so I don't know, but it makes sense because you haven't married any mother of your children, the ones who real deal have been with you and held you down for so many years. You never married any of them, you know what I mean? But also keep in mind, and we all know this as well, he doesn't seem to be, well, I ain't gonna say doesn't seem to, because it's already been proven, he is not straight. Okay, he's not straight. So that's also another reason why I feel like he exhibits certain behaviors and things, like he wants to be Cassie. Like all the sick stuff that you have this woman do, you want to be her. Okay, that's why you're doing the sick stuff that you do. I can't even say the stuff y'all on here because I don't feel like YouTube flagging me, which they already might flag me for speaking about this, etc. in general. But when I tell y'all, look into it. If you haven't already looked into the case, look into it and you'll know exactly why I say he wanted to be Cassie with the stuff that he had her do. Okay. Now let's talk actually about Cassie. Okay. Now Cassie, just the same dynamic, like I said, how the mother's supposed to be with the son in relationships. Now let's look at how the father is supposed to be with daughters in relationship. Cassie is a perfect example of that as well, because her mother was a single mother after she got divorced with her dad. Now, I don't know the specific relationships that Cassie has with her biological dad. I don't know if he completely went absent after that or whatever, but we know that she was a single mom. Her mother was a single mom, okay? And on the other end of that being the daughter, your father is supposed to teach you what you should look for in a man, in a husband, okay? He's supposed to teach you red flags, things to stay away from, etc. He's supposed to teach you that by loving your mama correctly in front of you, by showing up for his family, by protecting his family, all of that. He's supposed to show you that. Like, listen, if a man don't love you like I love you, he's not the one. Your dad is actually supposed to be, if he's a good active parent, he actually is supposed to be the one to choose your partner for you. You know, that's why back in the day, they had to ask your father's approval for you to get married, because your father needs to approve of him. So any good active father with a healthy relationship with his daughter is going to choose 9 times out of 10 the right person that she needs to marry. If he don't approve, then that means that that's not a good person for you to marry. Okay. So, you know, with her having an absent father, that shows us a lot. Also, studies show us as well that kids who grow up in broken homes are more likely to go through traumas. They're more likely to be promiscuous. They're more likely to go through mental health obstacles. They're just more likely to go through way more things than people in an active, healthy 2-parent household. Remember, I said healthy, okay? A healthy, active 2-parent household, okay? So that means that Cassie was already more at risk to go through the stuff that she went through, just simply because her father was not in the household. Okay. Now, again, I do not know her relationship with her father. I don't know if they had a good relationship. I don't know if he was active or not, but still, with him not being physically in the household, then that might have caused some trauma to her. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So that is unfortunate when it comes to that. That whole situation is unfortunate. Breaking this down spiritually, baby, this industry is literally crazy. I've been hearing and stuff. I've always kind of been into like the loophole thing surrounding the industry, and it's just now getting exposed, because this is actually the year in astrology and last year for people to get exposed, for things to get exposed, for the veil to be lifted. So that's why so much stuff is coming out, because we have to see what we need to see. The veil is finally being lifted. So I'm not surprised at all that all this stuff is happening. You have to really protect yourself spiritually, because Diddy really is like a devil. I'm not even gonna say a demon. He really is like a devil. Y'all seen all the videos that I put into this compilation. Like, all of that stuff is real, y'all. All of it is really sick. It's really low vibrational. And you have to realize, whether you believe in it or not, there is entities, energies that exist. Some people use it for good. Some people use it for bad. Just like people who were born into like hoodoo, voodoo, etc., right? Some of them practice that for good. They heal people. They make herbal medicines from it. Like, they help people realistically, okay? And then some people use it for bad, all right? That's with anything. Religion. You have priests that really do genuinely believe in their word, and they're preaching it from a genuine heart. Then you have people who manipulate it, trying to get you to sponsor their luxury lifestyle, okay? Telling you, oh, we need this amount of money to donate to the church, when they really using that money to buy them a new Bugatti. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then you have Catholic priests who are supposed to be these holding individuals, but behind closed doors touching on little kids, okay? So it's everywhere, okay? It doesn't like influence industry. It's influence in fame, money, etc. The energy surrounding it can either be good or it can be bad. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad, okay? And Diddy and his whole lifestyle and the people around, a lot of people around him, they use it for bad. It's so much, y'all. I wish I could make like hours long of video of all the stuff that goes on in the industry that people who have actually been in the industry have spoke about, okay? But just know, like, learn how to open your eyes and have discernment. So many people want to be famous and they don't realize that you're being protected from being famous because certain stuff would have happened to you. If you have no type of spiritual awareness, I wouldn't recommend ever being famous, okay? Because men like Diddy are going to suck you in real quick when you don't have spiritual protection, when you don't have spiritual awareness. There is this witch who spoke on, I forgot, I think it was Tasha K's show. I think it was her. I don't know though. But there was this witch who said that they cannot spiritually get to people who are spiritually protected because they can see that. They can see if somebody is spiritually protected, and even though they can try, they can't get to them because it's like a spiritual guard around that person. This is why I tell y'all it's so important to tap into your spirituality and your spiritual health. Pray more, go on fast, meditate, journal, tap in. Heavily tap in. If you feel like you have a lot of toxicity in your life, a lot of things is going wrong, go on a fast and cleanse yourself. Fasting is really, really powerful, but you can fast anything. It doesn't have to be like the popular fast that you be seeing online and stuff. Make your fast personal to you. I've gone without meat. I've gone without sweets. I've gone without internet. Like, you know what I mean? Pop, like it's personal to you and God alone. Okay. So just spiritually protect yourself, y'all. Real deal, spiritually protect yourself. I remember, like, which I think might eventually come out. Like, I remember them speaking about like Jay-Z and just like all these other people in the industry. And it just does not surprise me. It's like the stuff that people will do when you reach a certain amount of money or fame. It's just like the list goes on. And there are people who lived in Hollywood who said that it's real deal haunted. Like, they have haunted stories on TikTok of people who live in Hollywood or been to it, to where they have experienced a lot of like paranormal things. Okay. So, you know, that industry can be very, very low vibrational. I'm not saying that if you are rich, you got money and stuff like that, that you're a horrible person or you're evil or anything. But people use the materialism just like the devil does, right? Use materialism to get you locked in how they need to. Okay, there's many Diddies that exist around the world, many entities walking around just like him, except they don't have the money he has, they don't have the power he has, they don't have the fame that he has. Okay, so when you aren't spiritually protected, you are the perfect sacrifice for him, okay, and people like him to take in. Okay, notice also that the women that he chooses, they tend to be like the perfect bait for him. Like, for example, Young Miami. Okay, Young Miami, in my opinion, is very typical, very low vibrational, because she's full of like materialism, and materialism makes people do a lot of things. I remember all those allegations against her in relation to Diddy. Okay, so women, unfortunately, like her, as long as you have the materialism, the money to match it, then they will do anything. Even if it's against what they once believed in, they will do it. So he goes for people that he knows that he can get in there like that. Okay, so just realize, walking this earth, there are a lot of individuals who are soulless individuals. Diddy was a main example, who are just soulless individuals. They're just walking around here. And when you are low vibrational with no type of spiritual awareness, not good spiritual health, these entities that are walking around, they're like, ooh, I sense it, boom, and they lock on. Ooh, another one, I sense it, boom, and they lock on. Whereas if you are spiritually aware, your spirit guides surrounding you like, back up. Okay, not this one. You know what I mean? You have to be spiritually aware. It's so important to practice that. Okay, so that these devils and low vibrational entities walking around can't latch on to you. So yes, if you are full of just wanting materialism, you are opening yourself up to a low vibrational toxic world, because you're going to be easily influenced by it. Okay, why you think a lot of people with money have unalived themselves? If you look up the list of like millionaires or billionaires who have unalived themselves, you will probably be surprised at the numbers. It's because materialism doesn't buy your happiness. Materialism doesn't buy your peace. Okay, you need to have a peace of mind. You need to strive for a peace of mind first before anything else even comes with that. Just be careful, y'all. We can go on and on about this conversation, but more than anything, I just want to say, make sure you guys are protecting yourselves, okay, and being spiritually aware. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one.